Welcome to Intuition, the workshop that I am teaching tonight. And I want to thank everyone who donated, Pay What You Can. So I'm very grateful. So thank you very much. And yeah, so intuition, we all have it. And if you have any questions, just ask throughout. And I'm just going to share my screen. There we go. Okay. So intuition, what is it? It's the ability to understand something immediately without questioning it, without having a conscious reasoning in what message you are getting. And it's a thing that one knows from instinctive feeling rather than the conscious reasoning. So this is something that we all have. We do not lose it. It is something that we are born with. And it is something that we have to strengthen. It is something, it's like a muscle. So the more we use it, the louder it gets, the more easier it is to understand the messages that are coming in when we use our intuition. So this is something that's you can't expect to go to the gym and have muscles after or big muscles after the first day, right? You can have to take the time to build that muscle and work on it every day. So your intuition is something that just pops in. It's not something that comes in and then you think about it. It is something that just pops in. So it can be a word. It can be like you'll see colors or think of a color. You see a vision, something that you might hear. It's a knowing that comes and you can't explain it. A feeling that we get in our body typically, and our taste and smell. So it's all of our senses. So intuition is when you are in trust and you are aligned. So you're connected to your higher self. It comes divinely through you in downloads, or you get it in a sign, or you get it in your feelings as well. So that is just something that you can't explain it. It just comes in. And connection to your fire, your heart, your knowledge. So it is a true connection to all of you. And we get the message, we get a message and often we just question it. So like I said, it pops in and then we go into our ego. We go into that thought process. We go into things that, we make excuses not to listen to it. And that often happens for a lot of people, me included at times. Absolutely. Trusting, what is the worst that can happen if you trust this gut instinct that you get or this knowing that you have? And it's about slowing down our mind. It's about slowing down and stepping into your awareness as much as possible. So that is something that is huge. And often because we are so robotic and we just keep going through the motions every day, and something might pop in. It's a thought that we get, and then we just kind of, we got to get going, we got to go. And then later on, the thought comes up again and you say, oh, I wish I would have done that when I thought about it, right? So that's your intuition talking to you. And because we are in that robotic lifestyle, for a lot of us, we got to get our kids to places, or we got to get home and make supper or whatever. It's all about slowing down and just taking a breath and being completely in our awareness and being mindful. So the more you trust and honor your intuition, the more you receive and develop these gifts that you have. And if you are if you start getting the awarenesses and you start seeing things and your intuition, you start following it, you will get stronger and stronger and stronger. For instance, myself, I am more in my intuitive mind than what I am in my ego mind, or in my mind of, processing things. And I use ego just loosely. It's just it's it's not ego as in you're egotistical. It's just you are in your mind, and that's just how that goes sometimes. And you just keep practicing and working on it. And if you are in gratitude of everything that you receive for messages, the more you receive, right? It's the like the law of attraction, and understanding and acknowledging when you do have, something that comes to you that's intuitive. So it is a pop in. So each one of us get different signs. So no one will be alike. And you have to figure out what your signs are. You'll get images, possibly, you get smells, just different of all of your senses. Everyone is different. So for instance, if I see a feather, to me, that is, my guides are telling me, you know what, it's going to be okay. Trust it. Trust your intuition that you are following the right path. Where someone else, that might be a sign of a loved one coming through to help you. So everyone is different. There's no one that is alike, and you have to find out what is your own feelings in your body, your own knowing that comes in, and what it means for you. And that's why it's important to build on that. Our intuition is an overlap of our psychic abilities. So our all of our clairs, like all of our senses, is our intuition. It's not just that gut feeling. It is all of our senses, all of our psychic abilities. And everyone's abilities are different. Someone might be able to feel more than someone that has that knowing that comes in. It's just everyone is different, but we do have all of them, and we can sharpen and strengthen all of them. So no one is left out from that. And because one person might be able to, see more than the other, does not mean that you cannot see and get those messages intuitively. And you just have to think of it like a radio, and you're trying to be on, the waves of getting those messages. So the clairvoyance is your clear seeing. So the images and scenes, often metaphors in our mind's eye. So for me, I do see stuff. I'll see like something just really quick pop in, and more often it's more of for me, it's more of a knowing or a thought more than the seeing, but I do see quite a bit. So meaning metaphors is, I'll be with a client and I'll see someone, like just picture someone with a heavy load on their back. So that tells me my client is overwhelmed and things are just, they've got a lot on their plate. And another one might be like looking at, I see someone fishing and they're waiting for the big fish to come in, and they've been looking for the right job to come along, and it'll come along. It's just they have to wait for the right fish to come along to catch it on their hook, right? So there's all kinds of metaphors like that. And it's important to just, like, again, you have to slow down the mind, slow down your and consciousness, and just be aware of all those little things that come in, and they pop in and then they're gone. So if they're popping in and they're telling you a big long story, then that's not your intuition. It's quick and it comes in, and it's almost like it's quiet, and you if you're not paying attention, you completely miss what your intuition is telling you. And you could be just driving down the street and all of a sudden you see something like pop into your head, and that's your intuition telling you something. Clairaudience is clear hearing. So some people will hear voices, like they actually hear the words. They hear sounds, music, like the words in a song, or they hear the actual music. Um, it's like someone is talking to you in your mind. It's people will think you're crazy, but you're actually not. It's part of your intuition and part of those clairs that you grow and strengthen. So, for instance, I had a client, I was working on them, and when I'm working, it's quiet, right? So I take a piece of paper and I write down words that I get. I write down, just anything that comes, like a vision of say a bird or whatever. And we finished the treatment and we were having our discussion after, and I had said to my client, what does this one word mean to you? Because it's like you're putting a puzzle together. You don't get the complete sentence. Well, I don't get the complete sentence. I just get words, and I trust that because I don't understand what they mean, they're meant for the other person, and the other person will clearly understand. So I asked this person what this means. I had 2 words, and she just started laughing. And when she was getting her treatment, she got a knowing that she was going to write a book, and I had the title of the book. So it's really cool that you can piece it together and find the answers. So if you are working on something yourself and you get a word one day, write it down, and you have no clue what it means. And then a week later, you're doing, maybe the same thing, or going along and you're thinking about, something about your future, and you get a word that just pops in, write it down. And maybe it'll be pieces to the puzzle that coexist to create whatever it is that your intuition is trying to tell you to move forward with, possibly. And when you hear, it's never harsh, it's never like demanding, it's just there, it's just calm, it's there, and it's gone typically. And it's like very straightforward. There's no maybe, there's no, well, maybe you should do this. It is very meaningful, and your intuition will never ever steer you wrong. So if you follow it, you will always be led to the right space, the right journey, and you might get into a space where it's difficult, but know that you needed to go through that to have better things come on the next part of the journey. I truly believe there's nothing is by accident. I just feel that if you choose something that is maybe not right for you, or at that, like later on that you find out, well, this wasn't right, there was something along that path, or someone you needed to be part of their life for at that moment, and then you can change your journey and choose different, right? The hearing is very specific, like wait until next year, like wait till summertime, whatever it is, right? It's very specific, but again, it's never ever harsh. And they're short messages. Sometimes, like I said, 1 or 2 words or a number. So, and know that if you get a number, like that's a huge array, like it's a huge umbrella. It could be an age of someone, it could be a date, it could be an hour, a month, it could be time. It's you just don't know, right, until it actually happens for you to understand. So an example, I had someone that was having a baby, and she messaged me and she said she was like overdue, and she was like, when is this baby going to come? And so right away, number 3 popped into my head, and it was after the 3rd of the month. So I'm like, 3, well, doesn't make sense. So then I started questioning it, right? And I'm going, nope, You got to be in your intuition. You got to trust it. So I just said to her, it's going to be like maybe the 13th, something with a 3. The 13th, maybe it's 3 o'clock. So it's, you just never know. And her baby was born on the 13th, which was really cool because the number 3 was just there, and I had to trust it. And what can go wrong if I am wrong when I'm telling someone a question? And we can't hold on to an outcome if it is wrong. We can't hold on to, oh my goodness, I can't tell this person because I might be wrong, or what are they going to think of me? Am I right? So you just have to trust that you are right. Okay. Clairsentience is your feeling, and this is the most common because everyone is an empath, but we don't all this. An empath is just like your intuition, right? So if you're an empath, you have to strengthen that gift. You have to strengthen it, and clear feelings is the most common because there's so many people out there that can feel, and they have that emotion when they're around different people. So you get that feeling, that gut instinct, and it could be for good and bad, like, oh, don't go down the back alley, something is not right. You get that, right? And that is usually very prominent, where you get that gut instinct, this is something that I should really do and I'm excited about it, right? And whether we follow that or not, right? Whether you are listening to your intuition or not. Sometimes you get the chills. Someone tells you a story and you get the chills, and you know that, oh, that is absolute truth. That is something that is just awesome or not awesome, right? The feelings go both ways. And being able to read and feel the emotions or pain of others. I will often be in a treatment, and if I have, for instance, an example, someone that's in a lot of pain, they've been through some struggles, or someone's hurt them, I truly can feel that their heart is broken. Like it's crazy how that can be. I just got one more person coming in, so sorry. I'll just wait for her. Hello.
Hi.
I'm just in the middle of recording, so I will just continue on. So if you have any questions, you can just ask, okay?
Okay.
Sorry. So we're just talking about clairsentience and feelings with intuition. And yeah, so we can truly feel people's emotions and people's pain, and putting it, like I mentioned about feeling someone that has had heartbreak, trusting that what you feel is your intuition telling you about the other person, and possibly you can help them through their pain if you can feel that emotion and you know what they're going through, or you can have empathy for what they're going through. And another way with clairsentience is you could feel the energy in a room, and you can tell if you're going, say if you're going to someone's house and you are outside and you stop at the door and you just feel, what is it going to be like when I walk into the room? Are you going to be happy? Are you going to feel heavy? So you can, and then you can step in and say, oh, wow, yeah, it was like everyone is happy here. It's going to be a great night. You can feel that. So you're using your intuition to tell you how the people are in the room, basically, and the energy of the room. So if you have any questions, just ask throughout, Cherie, if you want. You can feel someone's energy before you can before calling them. So that's another way to strengthen your intuition, is kind of sit there and say, you know what, I got to make this phone call. Say it's your mom. I'm going to call mom, see, how she's doing, and sit with it for like 10 seconds before you make the call, and see if you can feel it in your body, how the energy is of her. And And then you will know right away if you are right or not. You can often, like you, with Clairsentience, it's your whole body. So you can possibly feel like something in your throat, right? And you might be clearing your throat. You might be uh, feeling a stiffness, having to clear it. Yes, Shri?
I just have a question for when you're done talking.
Oh, okay. Like at the end or just at the beginning?
Just at the after you're done,
Perfect.
Clairsentience.
Perfect. So this is like the Clairsentience is a big part is your empath abilities and strengthening that. And again, like trusting it, right? And one way you can do it is, write down your feelings and acknowledge them, right? And then go back and see if you were right. Like if you have feelings about, next week I'm going to my friend's birthday party, I feel, some sadness, say. So then you can go into going to it and then coming back and saying, hey, I'm going to go check my journal. How did I feel? Right. And then you can, and that's the whole point of with intuition, you need to be, you need to be getting that instant answer as much as like a short time between finding out. You don't want to wait a year to see if your intuition was right. So to develop it, you need those short time frames to get your answers. So yes, you can ask.
So one of the things I've learned in my experiences and journeys working with shamanic counseling and neurolinguistic practicing is that one of the ways that you can tell that you need to be aware of is if the feeling is yours or somebody else's, is understanding if it isn't comfortable in the emotions, that is like happy, sad, glad, all of those emotions, not thoughts, but actual feelings, is that it's not comfortable in your body. Because a lot of times I know for myself, I find I'm pretty empathic and I pick up energies, and it kind of, if I'm not conscious of my feelings, they kind of come out in my other experiences with people. And I recognize after the fact that they're not actually mine. They're actually coming from someone else, and they can kind of create catalysts in behavior with other interactions, if
Yes,
you will.
yeah, absolutely. And with that, I often will, for myself, I always know when it's my own. But before I found that out to be like instant, what I did was I would say, is this mine? So is this my energy? Is this my emotion? Is this my pain or whatever it is, right? And when we ask if it's ours, we usually can feel that. And if you're uncertain about that, what I used to do is I'd say, okay, if this is not mine, or I'd ask first if it's mine, and then I would feel, if this is not mine, please return to sender with love. I always send it back with love, because often when we're feeling those feelings, they're not always good feelings, right? And
Mm-hmm.
when we're putting it back, we don't want to just throw it back at someone's energy back at them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if they don't, and often people don't even realize that they're projecting their energy onto others, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I will always say, return to sender with love. And then I know, because if that feeling just goes away, then I know it's not mine.
Okay.
If
I
it's,
do very similar, only I ask that it be cleansed and healed.
yeah, and that's exactly perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
And then you're sending it back, but it's for them to deal with, not for you to take as your own, right?
Yes.
So yeah, and for me, and because I do what I do, I often will say, okay, I know this is theirs. What can I do to help them? Right? Because often it is not such great emotion, right? Because if it's joy, of course you're going to have the conversation, oh yeah, I'm so happy for you, whatever, right? But if you're having that heartache, for instance, what can I do to help this person? Can I just be space for them? Can I, and you may not even know whose it is either, right? So that in that case, you can't really help them. But yes, absolutely. It's often it is not even our own. And right now with the world, often people are just having a bad day and they have no idea why, right? But it's you're picking up on the collective's energy often, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Whoops. Look at my my PowerPoint is not working. Hold on. Uh-oh. Just a second. I'm gonna stop sharing for a minute here. Maybe I could go back. So you can go back and listen to the beginning. Cherie, I'll be sending the, why is this not escaping now? Ah. There. Oops, I just about stopped recording. Okay, I'll go back here. Why isn't my, that's weird. There we go. Okay. There. Claircognizance is the next one, and that's your clear knowing. So someone, and this is a strong one for myself, and I've really built up it, and I know that I have to just trust, right? I cannot go and do research to know why I know what I know. My husband will often say to me, well, how do you know that? Just trust me, I know it. Right? So you get those feelings, those emotions, even sometimes in your knowing, and you just know what is truth for you and what isn't. And and for a lot of people who are very scientific, they have a hard time believing you because you can't explain it, right? But they need to have the science behind it, and everyone is different, right? So, and that's that clear knowing, and it's an immediate download of information. There's no logic to it, and you can't explain it. So this is one that is big for a lot of people too, the claircognizance. And like I said, it takes a while to build up that strength in that knowing. Clairalliance is smelling. So this is not a real popular one that I find. And like I said, we have them all. We just have to strengthen them. We have to work on them and be in complete awareness as much as possible. So some people will smell perfume or smoke or flowers. I know when I smell smoke, it is a certain person that's passed that's with me, and I just trust that I know that. I had a friend who had I took her to, I had to pick her up. She dropped off her car. I picked her up. We went out for lunch. I drove her back to her car, and I get about 2 or 3 blocks from where I dropped her off. And all of a sudden, I had this huge smell in my car. It was cigar. And I was just like, oh, okay. So then I go into question, like, whose is this? Like obviously someone that's passed is with me, right? So then it popped in to my mind that, oh, it was someone of the person that I dropped off that was riding in my car. So I sent her a message and I said, do you have someone that's passed that smoked cigars? And she said, oh my goodness, my uncle. And we were just talking about him last week. And I go, well, he's with you. He's with you today. So it's kind of cool when you can get that awareness and you use that intuition to, give other people messages, right? And like I said earlier, that whatever is, you have to find out what the messages mean for you. So maybe if you do smell, a certain flower, that means you should be, taking this path or that path. Whatever it is for you, you have to build that strong intuition to allow yourself to um to to get those messages that you're receiving.
Do you have, sorry to
No, go
interrupt,
ahead.
do you have, when you're looking for, how do you say it? Clairescence?
Claire
Clair
Alliance,
oh, Clairaliance.
the smelling.
Uh, y the smelling.
Mhm.
Can you ask, "If I smell this, this will mean that?"
Absolutely. So, but that'll take a while to understand that, I think. Um, so with anything, with our intuition, with anything that you get, like a word that pops in, a thought, anything, right? A vision, anything that pops in, start asking questions. Okay, what does this mean? Is this for me or is this a message for someone else? Is this a person that's passed? Is this something about, should I be taking a certain path? What is it for me? And you start asking all those questions, and it does take time, but absolutely, if I'm supposed to go down this path or this path, you can just say, show me, I want, or not show me, sorry, let me smell roses today, or what, like, and be specific. Because if you just say, let me smell flowers, well, it might be mixed messages, because say a rose means to do something later on as you build. A rose might mean, yes, do it. But a sunflower means, wait a while, or whatever, the timing isn't right, or something like that. So whatever, just keep asking the questions, keep putting it out there to receive the messages, right?
Okay.
Because we have to ask, if we're not, if a lot of times our intuition, we're not paying attention enough. The messages are there, it's just they're not in our face. And if we're
Right.
not receiving the messages, okay, well, okay, make it more prominent that I can actually see it, right? You'll, like, ask for a number, and if you drive by on a license plate, you see the 999 or whatever, right? Where you're not going to see that on a phone. It's more, I've always been, when I ask for a sign, I don't make it, oh, a white van, right? Something that
Mhm.
you're going to see probably in the day if you're driving down the highway, right? So I'm always asking, show me three something or whatever, right? So it's not just something that's very prominent that you're going to see all the time.
'Kay.
With anything, like whether that's smelling or tasting or seeing or whatever, right?
Okay.
Claire Gustance is tasting, and you get that taste in your mouth, right? You get that, oh, I taste, say, lemons. What does that mean, right? So you start asking questions. Well, what does that mean? And then you start feeling it in your body, or you get that knowing that, okay, yes, this is what it means. And again, it takes a while to build it up. And we all have it. We never ever lose our intuition. It's always there, and it's just to build it.
Okay.
And for me, I started off with probably the clear knowing, clear cognizance, and then I went into more of the seeing, and the feeling is huge for myself. It's become stronger than my knowing. Well, I don't know if it's stronger, but it's my feeling is absolutely has gotten so extreme that I am having to really be careful about how much I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so our feeling body and our intuition is absolutely our body is a huge part of our intuition and understanding what those messages are. So the first thing, obviously, is you have to be aware. So if you say are having a coffee with your friend and your friend is like, oh, I just don't know what to do, and you might say, for instance, you start feeling your body, you being in awareness, and you might have a sore hip or knee. All of a sudden you get a sharp pain in your hip or knee, and it's like, okay, well, what is that telling me? Okay, well, my friend is having a hard time moving forward because it's that's a message. That's for me to be able to understand. And that's like, for me, that's what it means for me to talk to my clients, like, you're having a hard time moving forward. It might be different for you, and maybe not get the same message, but the body awareness is there to tell us what it is. We just have to figure it out, and it's pieces of the puzzle. um, and it's about feeling more and thinking less, like you mentioned earlier. And yeah, if you feel something and then you start thinking and you go into the processing, and then your ego kicks in, and then you're definitely not in your intuition.
Right.
Being mindful is a big part of it. Like, when you say, if you go for a walk the same way every single day, are you mindful? Like, are you paying attention to your body and your surroundings? So today the tree has beautiful leaves on it. Tomorrow they're all falling off, say. I mean, that's to the extreme, but um, that means maybe it's time to shed something, or you're purging something, or right. So it's all about being mindful. And what if you if you don't feel it in your body, maybe you can see it around in your surroundings. And like I said, ask your body questions. Is this mine? Right? What is it telling me? Okay, I feel a tightness in my throat. Okay, so is this, I'm not speaking my voice? My intuition is telling me to stand up and speak and be heard, right? And again, it's different for everyone. You have to figure out your own messages, what your intuition is telling you. Connecting with your physical body. So any sensations, the heaviness, the lightness, where is it in your body, right? Is it, can you smell, right? Uh, Often for me, if someone asks me to do something and I feel that instant lightness, it's a heck yeah, I'm in. And I'm in all the way. I don't question it, because if I do, then my ego will pop in and stop me, and it'll stop me from creating something more in my life, possibly, right? And heaviness, it could be, for me, that's a no. That's, if someone lies to me, I feel it. And it's like, it's prominent, right? So it's always being in awareness as much as possible of your body. Connecting to your higher awareness. So you get that knowing. And like I mentioned earlier, you get a few words and you piece the puzzle together. Or you get that vision, or it comes in a thought, right? You're driving down the road and all of a sudden you get a thought and you ignore it. And then you get to where you're going, you say, oh, I knew I should have brought that. I thought about it, but it's your intuition telling you that you should have brought whatever, right? That's just an example. Feeling the energy around your body. So it's not just in your body, it's around you as well, because our energy expands outward, and the farther outward you can expand, the better your awareness becomes, and the more your intuition is strengthened. So yes.
So I have a question about that.
Yep.
Again, with my experience, especially when you're starting to discover feeling,
Mm-hmm.
And I was taught that, like, if you were a child and you had adverse an adverse childhood, for example, as a child, your awareness becomes more open due to trauma. And
Mm-hmm.
then, so one of the techniques that I was taught is you should be pulling your energy in and getting comfortable inside your body first so that you understand your body first, as opposed to
Yes.
seeking out more energies that you might actually have, like I was saying earlier, catalyst with. Is
Yes.
that is that still something you should practice until you're comfortable understanding your own energy and
Yes.
that empath?
Yeah. So your intuition is your inside out, and your ego or your, the outside world comes from materialistic things inward. So you you have to, yes, definitely, you have to be aware from the inside, and then as you get better, you expand. So because you have to be very careful when you expand your energy, um, because you'll get those feelings of everyone else around you. And if you don't understand what your intuition is telling you, you're going to be picking up on other people's stuff. And then, like you mentioned earlier, it's not your own. So then you make choices that are not your own, right? And you pick up that energy. But yes, definitely start working from the inward out. And you can even, when you're, so for instance, you're going into someone's house and you stop at the door and you say, oh my goodness, what is the energy? I want to know. I want my intuition to start telling me, my feelers to start feeling, to say whether the energy is good or bad. And say you pick up that the energy is bad, so you can take your energy, as long as your intention is from a space of love, right? And you
Yep.
can expand your love outward, and you can say, you know what, I want to expand my energy outward to the room that I'm walking into, and I want it to change the energy so everyone is more loving and kind, or whatever it is, right? um, and you will find that you can actually change the energy in the room, just because you followed your awareness, knowing that things were not good in the room, right? And I'm not talking about changing it in a negative way, or changing an outcome. You should never ever try and change an outcome, because maybe there was a discussion in that room that needed to be had, right? So if it's meant to be love and light when I walk into the room, please allow me to meet the love and light um, when I walk into the room, and allow it to be a better energy. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. Because like you can't, like I said, you can't change anything to change an outcome with anything that you do, because things are supposed to happen by divine will. And if you start playing with, if it's not supposed to change, then you're not doing good with your energy.
Okay.
um, Feeling your emotional body, what is it telling you, right? What is it that I need to know right now? Like, how am I feeling? Am I feeling sad? Am I feeling joy? Right? So just absolutely feeling what it is telling you. And what do I need to know right now is another question you can ask your body, right? And your intuition will tell you what you need to know. And you could feel skin sensations. I mentioned that. I don't know if you were on yet, but um, sometimes you get the chill on your skin. You get the chills, or I personally have certain angels that rub me, like they'll brush their, I don't know, whatever. I feel a brush of air or a tingling in certain parts of my body, and it tells me that a certain angel's with me, guiding me or helping the client I'm working with, or whatever, right? So you just paying attention to your full body awareness. So working with and strengthening your intuition. And like I mentioned, it's about building that muscle. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes a long, long time to build it. But once you start building it, it gets easier and easier. For myself, I used to have to make sure that I was putting my mind into my awareness. Oh, I need to go into my awareness. What is it telling me? Now I am just in my awareness. I don't have to ask. It's more prominent than my thinking mind, which I am very grateful for, because it just tells me, and then I start asking the questions that I need to ask. So a few ways to practice this is, and you want to try and have immediate answers. You don't want to have to wait, like I said, 9 months to see the sex of a baby, right? You want to be able to have, like, for instance, when you get off from watching this, look at your phone, who texted you, or before you look at your phone, say, oh, I bet someone texted me. I feel like someone texted me, I should say. And I think it is blah, 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 blah. And even if you're wrong, it doesn't matter, but you're strengthening that. You're getting those messages that you're asking for. And you might get, your intuition might tell you that someone texted you, but you might have the person that texted you wrong, but that's okay. So, oh, thank you for, putting that thought into my mind that someone texted me. And then you can, with gratitude comes more, right? Before you go, say, to work, and you're going, you say, if you work alongside someone, oh, I think they're wearing purple today. You might get, just say to yourself, what are they wearing? And you might scan the room and something blue pops out. And you say, oh, I think it's blue. Or close your eyes and you see like a ray of blue, or, whatever, right? And just play with it and see how often you're right. Again, see how someone is feeling, before you go to work or before you come home from work. How's my spouse? Are they going to be, did they have a good day? Are they happy? And feel your body. And you'll be able to build that intuition in knowing how people are feeling as well.
About
Well,
that,
yes.
is there a way, like, I know about grounding and everything like that, but is there a way, because there are sometimes, well, you work and you're around people and they have their feelers out or whatever, and are probably at sometimes reckless with their feelers, and they're trying to get in your beeswax and that, and they're not staying in their lane.
Yeah.
Is there a way to create an intuitive boundary?
Well, you can put a bubble around you so people cannot feel what you feel.
Okay.
You can't control what people do or what they say, but you can definitely, put up an energetic bubble around yourself so they cannot feel how you feel, but they're probably still going to ask you the questions because they can't tell.
Yeah.
But that's okay. You get to choose how you deal with that. Like
Yeah.
today, I'm not, getting into that today. Whatever. If you want to just slough them off and set up your or just, what, I'll talk to you when I'm ready to talk to you, and you set that boundary. Then they don't, without being rude and saying, get back in your lane. It's none of your business.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, or you can just, often you can, and I'm not saying to put up a wall, because walls, that means things just bounce back at you, but you can put up that energetic boundary that, an intention that, what, don't allow this person to come to me with this issue, because,
Okay.
it's up for me to decide my own path or whatever it is, right? So you can just
Okay.
kind of set out those intentions and put it
Okay.
out there for them. Yeah. Sensing something about someone. So for something like that, you can just say, if you're on Facebook and someone messages you, say you don't know them. You're selling something on Marketplace, I'll say, and they send you a message, and you can look at their picture and say, what do I know about this person? My intuition will tell me if they're, you know what, this guy's not legit or whatever, right? But so you can start, building that kind of intuition as well, because you can often sense how someone is, or if you're at a party and you don't know someone and they come up to you and you get the weebie jeebies, your sense, that's your intuition telling you, walk away, don't have the conversation or whatever, right? You have
Okay. With that one, I recently have gone through something similar,
Mhm,
with a significant person in my circle,
mhm,
and I kept saying, like, I know something's up. I'm like, I know something's up, and I kept pushing for information, and then it all came to a head, and I was right,
mhm.
and I couldn't understand why I couldn't get the answers before this all came to a head.
Okay. So
Was I creating more like
you
resistance
were
to
you
the?
were pushing, were you pushing to get the answers from that person?
Yeah.
Or okay, so that's you not staying in your lane basically then, right? So you can ask the question as long as you're not trying to get information to benefit yourself, or just, it's like when I read cards for people, I will say to the person, okay, I will not read a card for you to find out about someone else. It's not about you getting information about other people, because that's not staying in your lane and that's not good energy. But if you ask the universe or your own guides or your own intuition, right? Um, is this truth? Whatever it is that you are feeling is
Okay.
truth. And get that information and trust it, right?
Okay.
You don't have to find out today, with when it comes to something like that. Um, just write it down and then come back to it and say, hey, this is exactly what I thought, and
Oh.
my intuition was right. You don't
Okay.
have to be the one that to go out and find out and say, yeah, I told you so. Or no, I'm not saying you said that, but you don't have to be where I have to find out right now if it's right, especially when it is about someone else, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, definitely ask and get your own knowing, get your own messages, and just trust it and know that you're right. And you know what? And if you end up wrong, then okay, I was wrong, and that's okay, right? And that's
Mm-hmm.
big part about your intuition is if we make a mistake, we start second guessing ourselves. And when we second guess ourselves, then we're not in our trust and following our intuition. We start making choices that are from a space of ego or your mind,
Yeah.
right?
And I find that it becomes hurtful because you start to speculate and overthink.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, this is not really intuition, but if it does not affect my life in it, or my child's life, or like, someone I love, then it really doesn't matter, right? I
Oh.
can have my speculation, I can know what I know, and be who I need to be, as long as it's not affecting my family or a loved one or whatever, right? Totally different if you have your intuition is telling you something's not right about, say, if your child is small and they're in daycare and you have
Mm-hmm.
a feeling that they're not being treated properly. That's totally different. Then
Yeah.
you follow that intuitive knowing right now, right? You don't wait
Yeah.
to see if you're right.
Yeah, I really appreciated what you just said, because when I did let go, like, now I understand when I let go of the stopped pushing, it all came to a head, and it was true, and it was exactly what you said. It's like you just know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And and in those cases, you just allow it to follow, allow it to happen. And then you thank your intuition for telling you that the messages that you received. And I'm thankful because I chose not to maybe go to whatever with someone that I know that wasn't a good person or whatever, right? Like, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
10 million.
You didn't go to extremes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because you have the feeling that, something's not right or whatever, right? So, and
Yeah.
that goes just the same as that gut feeling, right? It tells you the gut feeling can be positive and negative, right? It can be like your gut feeling is saying, yes, let's do this. It's exciting and I've got butterflies. Or it can be like, oh, this is not good. I better follow my true gut feeling because something bad is going to happen. And, and it's like today, for instance, I was with my husband and we were going to go the same way home. And I said, I think we need to go down this way. And it's like, I have to just trust that I might have got into an accident or, something else might have happened or, right. So you just got to trust that there is a reason why your intuition said to turn left instead of right.
Gotcha.
Um, so words are another way to work with, to trust. Like I'm not sure if you were on yet, but we get words and we don't know what they mean yet, but just trust that that word means something and ask for it to present itself, right? Show me, let me feel it, let me, whatever it is, right? Any thoughts that you get, like, oh man, I thought of that and I just didn't turn around or go and get it. So then now I'm not listening to my intuition that said, you should have brought whatever to the
Whatever.
yeah. Feel the energy before you arrive somewhere. I talked about that. Another way to strengthen your intuition is a parking stall. So say, for instance, you're going to the mall, it's Christmas time, there's, the parking lot's going to be full. So there's different ways you can just kind of say, okay, can I see where I'm going to be parking? Or can you vision, going down each aisle and going, oh, aisle 3, I'm going to find a parking stall. Or, you just get, a word or a letter, number, whatever, like some of the parking stalls have the barricades with, this is section D or whatever. And you might see the letter D, or it might pop into your head. So then when you go park, see if your intuition told you right, right? Oh, or you might see a black car and a white car. Oh, well, here, look at this. There's a parking spot right beside the black and white car. That's cool. Thank you. You know, you can just practice like just different ways like that. The sex of the baby, like I said, but if you're at the beginning of the pregnancy, you have to wait 9 months to see if your intuition is right. Um, I was just recently with family and I've got 2 nieces having babies, and there was someone in the family said, oh, what's the heart rate? And she was doing the science, the logical, right? Oh, if the heart rate is this, it's going to be a boy. If it's that, it's going to be a girl. And I was just like, what pops in is what it is, right? For me. And so we'll see. they're going to have their babies here in October. So, but it's, just use that intuition and test it, right? And if you're wrong, you're wrong. You just continue on, and it gets stronger every day. Driving down the highway, you can just say, you know what, the 5th car coming up, or the 5th vehicle coming up, it's going to be a car and it's going to be red. And then you get to the 5th one and it's maybe red, but it's a truck, but that's okay because you got the color right. So it's that instant gratification of knowing that your either intuition is right or wrong, and not overthinking it. So when you're asking those questions for an immediate, it's either you feel it in your body, or you see something, or you get a knowing, or you get the word. Whatever of those clairs are the strongest are going to be the most prominent for you to build upon. You can hold an object. What is it telling you? That's kind of, your intuition, like that. That's kind of, You can do it, but it's hard if you don't know the story behind the object, right? And again, ask a lot of questions. What is it telling me? On and on and on, right? Another way for to get the immediate answer is through oracle cards or tarot. So you can ask the question and feel what you feel, or get the vision or the knowing or whatever it is, and then pull the card for it to tell you a confirmation of what it is, as well as pendulums. I'm not sure, you have to kind of build your friendship with your pendulum, I'll say. And for me, I work with pendulum quite a bit. It's a tool. I don't depend on it, but I was getting married and I said, is it going to rain on my wedding day? Because it was an outdoor wedding and we had no backup. And I got a yes. So I'm like, oh, darn. So then a month later, oh, is it going to rain? Yes. So then I started breaking it down into increments. Okay, is it going to rain when I walk down the aisle? And my body told me no. I confirmed with my pendulum, it was a no. Is it going to rain when I'm actually getting married? My body said no. My pendulum said no. And then I said, is it going to rain after? My body said yes. And my pendulum said yes. So it's confirmation, and it's really good when you can get that immediate answer, because then you can have that gratitude of knowing that, yes, this is how I'm supposed to feel for my yes. And this is how I'm supposed to feel when I, or see a color or whatever, right? So I have a little exercise. So I have some oracle cards, and I'm going to get you don't have to say out loud, obviously, what you think is on the card, like in whatever pops in. It could be like flowers, it could be animals, it could be a number, it could be birds, it could be nature. Is it a person on there? Is it what colors? Maybe any words, symbols, whatever, right? So I'm going to hold the first card in my hand. I'm going to stop sharing for a sec so I can see that this is actually working. And now I want you to, whatever pops in for like anything that you think is on this card. And I'll give you a second to just, anything that, and don't beat yourself up if it's wrong, because it's an exercise, right?
I immediately thought bird.
Okay.
Butterfly. My second one was a bumblebee, but
oh yeah. So, and it's, I don't know, is that clear?
yeah.
Okay. So rainbow, there's butterflies. The number 31 is on there.
It's funny, I thought 4 and 3 plus 1 is 4.
So that's exactly right. Your intuition, it may not be like clear and in your face, but it definitely, there's signs, right? You have to figure it out. It's pieces to the puzzle.
And the other thing was on my mind was Fairy Creek Falls in Fernie.
Oh, there
and
you go.
There's a waterfall and there was lots of butterflies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
Okay, I got one. I got 4 actually altogether. So I got one more here. So again, what comes to your mind? I'll just give you a sec. Any colors or whatever. Okay.
Yeah, I was getting a complete blank.
Oh, why is that not? So it says thriving on there.
Okay.
And it's got like a moon, and it has trees. It has 3 giraffes. So, if maybe number 3 popped in for anyone. Yeah. Okay. I got another one. So.
Sorry, did you want me to keep it to myself?
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
I'm recording this, so it might go on YouTube. Or probably will go on YouTube. That's okay.
Okay.
Okay, I'll just get this one now. I don't know why it's like,
It actually, when you hold it back a little bit, it isn't blurry. Yeah, right there is good.
Okay. So again, you can see there's a reflection, illumination. So it's nature, right? So if you had like something nature, or, it's kind of like a mist. So if you rain came in, or, whatever, right? It could also be if you don't feel you had it right, it could have been just the message that you needed. Okay, one more, and then we'll move on.
Oh, that was what I thought first, and it's actually the exact hummingbird I was thinking of.
Oh, wow, that's pretty awesome.
I think it's an Saint Anne hummingbird.
Okay, and it says joy, so maybe you felt like light and feeling good, right? Number 22. So though that's an angel number, you might have thought of relationships, or
I've been getting a lot of twos lately.
well, that's cool. And there's always messages in the cards, right? It's I truly believe that. Okay, I'm gonna share again. We're almost done, I think. Oh, hold on. I'm not on the right page. There we go. Okay, so expanding your awareness and energy outward, the more that you can feel it within yourself and move outward, the more you will pick up on the feelers, and your intuition will strengthen. And understanding at that time that what is yours and what isn't, right? And your intuition tells you if it's yours or not. You can do meditation, and there's all kinds of meditation. I'm not going to get in deep into that because I could go forever, right? Be in the present moment. So again, the mindfulness, having awareness of your dreams. There's so many messages in dreams if you remember them. And if you need help with the dreams, I am very good. I can teach a course on that too. And I can help you out in strengthening that. Writing and automatic writing. So again, if you think of something and you write it down because it's coming, and you might, like, in a couple weeks, write it down, see if you were right about your intuition. Or automatic writing, some people can just sit down and write whatever comes through the pen, and there's the messages in that, and that's your intuition as well. Messages in books, so you can say if you are looking for a message, intuition, tell me, do I need to go down this path or this path, for instance. You can first use your intuition to pick the right book. It could be a book from a deck of cards. It could be any kind of message book. It could be just a regular book as well, right? And you might get a page number or a number that pops up, and that's the page number. Or you just flip and then point to the page, a spot on the page, and read the sentence or the whole page, right? Whatever it is that you're looking for. And again, messages in the oracle or tarot cards can give you that immediate answer. And you have to be careful with that you're not, trying to get information about others that is not needed for you to know. Pendulum, I mentioned. Music, absolutely. In songs, there's always usually, I'm a person who I don't listen to the music. I very rarely have my music on. I listen to podcasts, but I tune out a lot. So, and if I come and I automatically just hear the music and the verse that's on, that's a message for me typically. Or I will get a song that is someone that's passed, and the song will come on, and I'll just know that that person is helping me through whatever it is that I'm going through. And typically that's when it comes up. And asking your body, what is you need to be aware of right now? So, like I mentioned, getting a pain in your hip or your knee. Oh, what do I need to be aware? Oh, I'm scared to move forward. Okay, so I need to make the leap. There's apps out there that are really cool. I don't know one specifically, because everyone is different, and knowing what you know in how to work with your intuition. So with that, I will, go onto an app and it'll say, pick one of the squares, which one is it going to be? And just keep building on that. And, the key is to make sure that you're being in awareness as much as possible, and acknowledging when you see, feel, hear, taste, smell um, any of those clairs, that it's your intuition, it's your feelers, you could say. So we're going to go into the ego, so your mind, rather than listening to your intuition. And with that being said, our ego only knows what we've gone through. It only knows our past, where our intuition can lead us to a different future than repeating all those same experiences. So your intuition will always, always never steer you wrong, always bring you to abundance or confidence, where your ego will keep you scared, or keep you in anxiety or depression, or in a space of scarcity where you don't feel like there's going to be enough. How am I going to pay my bills? But your intuition is saying, you know what, it's going to be okay. But you're sitting there worried, right? Your intuition is quiet. It pops in. It does not jump up and down. It doesn't scream, where your ego will keep it processing through your head over and over and over. That used to be my life. I used to stay up all night and run everything through my head. Well, I could do this, but then this is going to happen, or, whatever, right? You just keep processing instead of listening to what you should do. Intuition is a physical sensation, so you feel it often. Where the ego, it could be like very heavy and contracted. Your intuition will nudge you towards peacefulness. So you get something comes across your path, and say a book with a title on it, jump in or whatever, right? And that's your intuition giving you the messages, and your ego will just say, well, maybe not. Maybe now's not the time, right? Your intuition will you just know that what something is. You just know that it's going to be okay. I just know. I don't know how I'm going to do this course, but I just know I'll be able to do it, and it's going to bring me to more abundance. And your ego will just, what if I do this? What if I don't have the money? What if I don't have the time? What if, right? And then you're completely out of listening to your own intuition. And doesn't need to make sense. You don't have to know. It's just something that is what it is. And your ego, well, you just keep processing all those past experiences. This happened to me in the past, so why would I do this again? Intuition is simple. No, there's no explanation needed. It's like someone says, do you want to go on a holiday? Nope, not going. That's it. I don't have to explain myself. I don't need to know why I know that I should not go. I just am not going because my body is telling me. Intuition has excitement. So before I took angelic Reiki, it came across my path, I don't even know, the words popped in one day, angelic Reiki, and I'm like, is that even a thing? I don't even think it's a thing. So I started doing research, and it's a thing. So I found someone that teaches it, and I was so excited. And then 2 days later, I signed up, and 2 days later, I started going, oh, what about the money? It's going to be, how am I going to do this? What's it going to look like? And then I just shut it down, because I'm like, no, I was excited. This is going to be something good for me. And it has brought so much to my life. So if you get that excitement, you got to follow it. Intuition is secure as you are. So if you're feeling insecure, then you're not going to, your intuition is not going to be, you're not following it, you're not listening, and you'll just continue to hold yourself back. And I mentioned earlier, it comes from the inside out. So if you are needing to lose weight because you are going to be meeting up with a whole bunch of people that you haven't seen in 10 years, and you're just going, oh, what are they going to think of me? That is not your intuition talking to you. It would be, you need to lose weight because you feel good. Your body feels good. You feel good about yourself. You're more healthy. It's easier, whatever, right? So it's always inside out. And it comes from the heart. It's never ever from a space of anger or anything like that. And your intuition will always give you the same answer. Just like I mentioned about, is it going to rain on my wedding day? Yes. And then I asked a month later, yes. So it was always the same answer. There was no debate. Like one time, well, yeah, I should do this. And the next day it's like, well, maybe you shouldn't. So that's all you're in your head, and using that thought process and trying to make reason for it. And your intuition is expansive. So again, as you expand your energy and you feel better, and you know that you can trust what your intuition is telling you, and you know how to listen to your intuition, that's when you expand outward and get more of those answers that you're looking for. And you can read people a lot better. Myself, if you lie to me, I know you're lying. It just, my body tells me and it screams to me. And that's empath, huge. You can sense vibrations. That is definitely myself, my intuition. That is a piece of me that has really changed in the last 2 years for myself. I will at times feel, when I'm meeting someone new, or not necessarily someone new, but I'm going into something and I am vibrating inside, like my insides are shaking, my insides, and it's not fear, it's not me being scared, it's someone else's stuff. And I know that I'm picking it up, and I know that I'm going into a group of people, and I now try and ask my intuition to tell me whose it is, right? Because I know it's not mine and it's screaming at me. So feelings, thoughts, and hunches, those are definitely intuition. It's a hunch. You don't know how or why or when or anything, you just know. And it's, you're going off a hunch, and you're just like, I don't know anything about this, I just know I need to do it, and I move forward with it. And you'll get reoccurring thoughts as well with your intuition. I was going on some appointments with my husband, and there was like, I don't know, 5 or 6 appointments, and I kept getting these feelings and these thoughts. And I was like, well, whose is this? Whose is this? So the first group come in, or first people come in, and I'm like, oh, it's not them, it's not them. And I kept being, asking the questions. Finally, I just said, you know what, after like 3 or 4 people, I just said, show me, tell me when it's about the people that are coming in. And I just left it to not think about it anymore, because you could burn out all of your energy. And then a group came in, and it came back to me, and the feelings came back to me, and I was able to be more empathic toward them and understand what they were going through. So there's always a reason why you get those thoughts and guidance. I'm always to try and help people through things. So that's how I use it. Okay, one more thing is a timeline. And you can do this for anything at any time. And it's when you're first starting with your intuition, it's good to just do like something short. You don't want years, because, or else you're waiting years to see if your intuition is right. For instance, uh, you're so dislike your job and you just don't know how much longer you can do it. So you be very specific and you say, um, am I going to find a new job that is going to serve me and allow me to be my best self? Would be a really good way to say it, because you could just say, am I going to get a new job? Yeah, it's going to be crappy though, right? Or a new boss, or, is it going to be a better? Is it going to serve me? Am I going to be, be able to be happier or whatever? Right? So you can just look at the timeline, 0 to 3 months, we'll say, okay, how is my body feeling? Is anything popping in? Like you might get a number, or say you see a month on the calendar, or something like that. No, nothing's happening. I feel still really crappy about my job. 3 to 6 months. Well, no, still feel crappy, right? And then you start, concentrated on 6 to 9 months, and then all of a sudden you feel joy, or you feel light, or you feel, something better. So now you can go to work and say, you know what? I've got 6 to 9 months and things will get better, right? Something will present itself, something will be better. And then if you want, you can start being more specific about the 6 to 9 months, right? You can maybe get the number, like if it's like September, maybe number 9 will pop in, or, something like that. Or you'll see, fall leaves, and you'll see that, oh, well, September, the leaves fall off the trees, right? So you can just kind of get different, whatever works for you, and to build upon that. And the thing is to absolutely work on it and find the joy in it, and not judge yourself if you're wrong, because often we go into that scarcity of, what if I'm wrong? For instance, I do see, but at this time I did not see. Like I could not see people, and there's things I couldn't see. So I had a client, and she'd come to me once, and then she'd come back a month later. And I often don't remember my appointments until I see the people again, and I close my door and I'm back in the room, and then I start remembering. But I got this vision of a man, and I was just like, it wouldn't leave. It just wouldn't. And I got details, and I started shaking, and I'm like, I don't know my client. Is she going to think I'm crazy? I don't think I should tell her anything. I don't think, so I started going into the ego, and I started going to, just into my head. And what if I'm wrong? Right. But then what if I'm right? So I had no attachment to it. I finished the appointment. I went out and washed my hands. I come back in, and I was shaking. I was almost crying. And I said to her, I said, okay, I'm sorry if you think I'm crazy, but this is so strong and I have to tell you. And I described this man to a T: suspenders, glasses, his color hair, no hair, sitting in a chair, the color of his shirt, everything. And it was her husband that died, and it was their anniversary of his death. And I just started bawling, and I'm like, oh my gosh, right? So as soon as I trusted that and I did what I did, it was like a floodgate opened for me. And I got so many more, so much more awareness, and my clairs just expanded. And yeah, so you have to just trust it, and work on it, and get what you can get. Yeah.
Good job. That was awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, you can go back and see the beginning of it.
Okay.
And there's
Do I just like hit something, or?
No, I will send you the link.
Okay.
Because I have quite a few people that signed up.
Okay.
So, and they're gonna want to watch it too. They just couldn't be here tonight. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and it's good that I have someone asking questions, because it allows me to expand more.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And
Have a great evening.
yeah, you too.
Will do.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye.